Starting your week right. What you're rating 10 cards, baby. Hey, wake up, honey. It's Monday. Let's look at some random cards on day number 277. Here is Thragtus Swagtusk, baby. We all love Thragtusk. What are you from? What are you from? Some sort of Innistrad set? Am I crazy? You know, Magic 2013. Magic 2013. I was way off that time. Okay, so this is 5 mana. 4 and a green for a 5/3 beast. When it ETBs, you gain 5 life. When it leaves the battlefield, you get a 3/3 green beast creature token. So I don't know what people play this in Commander. Probably not. It's down to like, God, as low as 12 cents for some versions of it. It was in Commander products, but I don't know how much sense it makes in Commander. I guess it's a decent blink target, you know. Not only do you get the 5 life, but it doesn't have to go to a graveyard. It just leaves the battlefield, and you get a 3/3. This was key to the Restoration Angel Thragtusk deck way back in Standard, like 16 years ago. It doesn't seem like it was. I mean, it says Magic 2013, so it wasn't that long ago, but in any case, it has to be older than that. It absolutely has to be older than that. It feels like Restoration Angel Swagtusk was before my marriage, and I've been with my wife for 15 years. So either way, man, that was a good deck way back in Standard. But like I said, I'm not sure how much work this puts in Commander, but I'm still going to give this card the honorary 5 to start the week. I'm going to give a card an honorary 5 because, like, I remember both being scared of and satisfied by Swagtusk many, many times in my life. This is a really, really good Magic card, guys. But again, does it translate to the modern day? I'm not sure. But let's move on to Priest of the Blessed Graph. This is from Crimson Vow Commander. It's 25 cents to buy a copy of this. 3 mana, 2 and a white for a 1/2 human cleric. At the beginning of your end step, create X/1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying. Okay. X is the number of opponents who control more lands than you. Okay. This is pretty good. This is actually pretty good. I mean, all you have to do after a while is, you know, not play lands. Just like hold a couple of lands in your hand, and it won't be too long before your opponents have a bunch of lands. You can start playing your lands again. And even, you know, through a couple of turns, you'll still be able to get like 3 whole 1/1s. Even if you only get like 2 1/1s, it's still okay. It doesn't have the best stat line for its mana cost, but I guess in Commander that matters a little bit less. And it can make 3 tokens the turn it comes into play. And I actually think it's more likely to make tokens for you if it comes into play on like turn 6, you know? Like if you double spell on turn 6 or you get it off the top of your library or something. Yeah, I think it's especially if you have a deck that like sacrifices lands for whatever reason. There's one coming out. It's not on color for that deck, but there's a deck coming out like that in Edge of Eternities that wants to sack lands. So it's not like unheard of. You know, you got your Zurin Orb or something, and you're just sacking lands to make sure everybody has more lands than you every turn. And you can Crucible them back into play or like whatever you want to do if you want to, but just make sure you get your flyers. I don't know, I like it. A tokens deck, or, you know, especially a tokens deck with like Anointed Processions and other ways to get like more tokens, right? Elspeth Stormslayer or whatever. So that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good, actually. I'm going to give this a 5.6. Sure. 5.6 for Priest of Blessed Graft. I think it's fine. I think it's a fine Magic card, man. I like tokens, you know. Gauntlets of Chaos from Chronicles here is the one that I know it from the most. There's a Legends copy of it. There's a Legends copy. It costs $8 for this Legends Rare. Huh. Like one that I remember from my youth. I might order Gauntlets of Chaos. That is pretty cheap. I bet you could find a heavily played copy for like $4. I bet you could. And that might be fun. What's it actually do? 5 mana for an artifact. You pay 5 mana and you sacrifice it. Exchange control of target artifact, creature, or land you control, and target permanent an opponent controls that shares one of those types with it. If those permanents are exchanged this way, destroy all auras attached to them. For whatever reason. just because, you know. It says enchantments on traded permanent are destroyed on the old card. They used to have a way with words, man. But still, yeah, 5 mana, 10 total mana to cast Donate. I guess. But it's a neat little card. It really is a neat little card, man. It doesn't really do anything in Commander nowadays, but you could make it do something, you know. By the way, Shredder gloves. These are the gloves of the Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The gauntlets, I guess. But either way, I guess you could get up to some nonsense in Commander, play it one turn, sacrifice it the other one. At least you can pay it in installments or whatever. But you got to have something juicy to grab. That said, I bet you could. I bet you could do something fun with it, but it's just really overpriced mana-wise. So I'm going to give this card a 4. Right in there somewhere. I still think that there's fun to be had with Gauntlets. I do. But next is Temple of Triumph. We have done the temples. How often do they just barge their way in like, hey, I'm a card? Yeah, we know. Move on to Willy Wolf, one of my favorite stories in Magic the Gathering. Richard Garfield, creator of Magic the Gathering, has a wife named Lily Wu. And this is the card that's named after her. Lily Wu, Willy Wolf. This is originally printed in Arabian Nights, although you can get a 5th edition copy for $1.12. If you want a 6th edition one, that one's $3. I don't know why. It's just how it is. But the one from Arabian Nights is $10. Again, I would tell myself to order like a heavily played copy of this for a few bucks, but I've already got a few copies of this card. I really like this card. It's not great though. 2 mana, 1 and a green for a 1/1 wolf. You can tap it, and a creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Not great. Actually used to be a halfway decent Magic card. There was a day where this is a fine Magic card, but I love the art, the Susan Van Camp art. Some would say things about this art, okay? Some would say things. I would say positive things. I love this. This is my joint. This is my jam. Okay. I think that she did good. So I like this. It seems like a t-shirt you'd buy at a gas station in the best possible way. I would wear that t-shirt. I would frame this art in my house. I am that kind of guy. It's got a wolf in it and it has a moon in it. Do you understand? That's awesome. The card itself is not great. I'm going to have to give this like a 2, and that sucks because this once would have been like a 5.3. There was a point. There would have been a playable Magic card. We don't live in that world anymore. Next is, and that's probably for the best, next is Kellen Halberer. This is originally printed in Time Spiral, and it's 5 mana, 4 and a red for a 4/1 human warrior with first strike and suspend 4. So if you want to play this on turn 1, you can. And then on like turn 5, you'll get a 4/1 first strike. Pretty drafty guy. Pretty drafty man or woman? Right, I'm not sure. So I will give her a... Is this better than Willy Wolf? You gotta ask yourself for the rest of the video, like, is this better than Willy Wolf? I'm going to give this a 2.2. Hey, I think it deserves it. Next is Wormwood Dryad from also Time Spiral. 3 mana, 2 and a green for a 3/1 Dryad. If you pay a green, it gains Forest Walk until EOT and deals a damage to you. If you pay black, it does the same thing but with Swamp Walk. So that's kind of nice, again, for like limited purposes. You know, like I'll give it unblockability until end of turn against your deck. I don't hate it. I will give this a 2.5. You see how the scores keep going slightly up because the cards keep getting just a tiny bit better. I don't know. Maybe people will squabble with me over, you know, whether or not a 1 mana 4/1 is good enough, but you have to wait so many turns. This is just like, it's unblockable. Take some damage. I like that. But a Final Fantasy card. Next is Lock Treasure Hunter. This is still holding steady at like $1. It's from the Final Fantasy Commander set specifically, and it's 3 mana. 1 black-red for a 2/3 legendary human rogue that cannot be blocked by creatures with greater power. Can't be blocked by creatures with less power, though. It also has Mug. Whenever Lock attacks, each player mills a card. If a land was milled this way, you get a treasure token. Till end of turn, you may cast a spell from among those cards. Pretty cool guy. I'm not sure what deck he really goes in. I guess you could put him in Ishin, 2 Heavens is 1 or something, and get like double treasure tokens off him. More spells you could potentially cast, so that's kind of nice, you know. I've always, just this past like 6 weeks since the card has, first been spoiled, I've liked him, but I just don't know where exactly he goes. Is he your commander? I don't think so. I think he's more of a 99 kind of guy. And I like Locke. He's like one of my favorite characters in Final Fantasy lore. And they didn't necessarily do him wrong here. He's an interesting Magic card, but how good, if you actually had to rate Locke, how good is he in casual Commander. Which I guess I'm asking the audience here, like, what do you guys give Lock down there in the comments section? Look alive, Monday morning, first Ask the Audience of the Week. Because I'm kind of conflicted on this. I'm going to give Lock a 5.2, and I hope that that's not too high for, a 3-mana 2/3, but the way I look at this is probably a treasure token every single turn, and card advantage in your Rakdos deck. So if you have ways of getting in or, attacking the person with no creatures or whatever it is, protecting Lock, then suddenly, yeah, you get a little card advantage, you get a little ramp, and those are both, things you can leverage for sure. They're like two of the most powerful things in the game. So I think Lock is definitely just kind of one of those like almost generically good guys. But the moment you can't, find a path to get in with him, he becomes like way worse. So, there's some tension there, but I think he's pretty decent. Next is Epitap Gollum. This is 5 mana for a 3/5 Gollum. It's an artifact creature. You pay 2 mana, you put the target card from your graveyard on the bottom of your library. This originally printed in Shadows of Innistrad. It's one of these. Shadows of Innistrad. People probably freak out when you say Innistrad. Innistrad! Anyway, it's a cool card because it's from Innistrad, and look at that. Look at that aesthetic. Look what's it's a mausoleum, like a crypt getting up and walking to a graveyard. It's dope. But card itself is like it's like a 1.9. It's not super great. So we'll move on to Cloudpost. Wow. So this is originally printed in Mirrodin. It is banned in Pauper and Modern because it's really good. This is a land that is a locus. It comes into play tapped, and you can tap it to add 1 to your mana pool for each locus in play. So if you have 4 of them in play, they tap for a total of 16 mana. So that's kind of Tronish, in some ways. And there are ways of copying the Cloudpost where you have more copies of Cloudpost in play because, yo, dog, heard you like Cloudpost. Overusing that joke this week in different videos. But either way, man, yeah, this is a pretty bomb Magic card right here. Even though it doesn't look like much. It comes into play taps for colorless, who cares? That's wild. It's a wild card. Also note that it says for each locus in play, not that you control, in play. So if you're playing against another deck that has Cloudposts, suddenly they just tap for 1 billion mana. If you want to pay $10, you can get this one from F&M 2010. But, if you just want the old one. I didn't realize there was a World Championship deck with a gold bordered copy of Cloudpost. That's fun. But yeah, 2004, that sounds about right. But anyway, Cloudpost is nasty. This is a really good land, man. I'm going to give Cloudpost an 8.6. I am. It's unassuming. We are in casual Commander, though. How good is Cloudpost in casual Commander? I'm just going to respect his professional pedigree. Sometimes you have to do that with cards, so I'm going to give this an 8.6. I'm sticking to it. Next is Glennalindra Archmage with some funky art from a Secret Lair drop, but it's originally printed in Eventide. This thing is really, really annoying. 4 mana, 3 and a blue for a 2/2 fairy wizard with flying. Pay a blue and sacrifice this guy to counter target non-creature spell, and also has persist. So not counter it unless they pay some amount. No, just counter it. Just counter it. It's pretty gross. And of course, since it has persist, you counter their first non-creature spell, and you just put it right back into play. So if they want to remove your guys ever, they can't, assuming you have an open mana, because you'll just be able to, especially have 2 open mana, counter 2 removal spells in a row, and it usually took them a while to draw the first one. Really hopeless to play against this card sometimes in a competitive environment. God, I love this card. But I also hate it. A real love-hate relationship with GEA here. I have played with it and against it many times when I was actually attempting to, go to Pro Tour qualifiers and stuff around this time during Lorwyn Standard or, Lorwyn Block, like this 2-year period of time or so, year and a half. But anyway, yeah, this is a card I know very well. And honestly, I think people should play this in Commander. I really do, and I think they do. I guess they do because it's still $8. It's like still $8.50, $9 to get your hands on a copy of. Look at this one. Look at this one. I want that one. Why is it the $22? Why is it $22? I want that card. That seems awesome. With the retro frame, the 2008 stamp with the spoil and the foil and the shooting star foil tip. That's a nice looking card, bud. But anyway, yeah. I have a special love in my heart and a fire of hatred burning as well for this card. I know we're rating for Casual Commander here, but I still think the card is that good there. I'm going to give Glennalindra Archmage a 7.6. This is a fantastic card. This is a magic card. It certainly is. But anyway, we got to do a bonus card this week, everybody, because it is our first day of the week. Got to get ready. It's Bleed Dry. Look at that art. Look at that art. Look at that right there. This is 4 mana, 2 and 2 black for an instant. Target creature gets -13 till end of turn. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. It's never coming back. Apparently, to reanimate a creature, it has to have its blood. That's the key. But yeah, that's unsettling art. Has it always looked like this? Yes, it has. That's probably the freakiest looking one, isn't it? That Nosferatu joint. But anyway, yeah, that's like a 2.7. It's pretty bad removal spell for the most part, but I guess it is 4 mana exile creature. I'll take it some of the time, but never put it in my commander deck. Never. You're not going in. So 2.7. But anyway, guys, that was Monday. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.